Alright, it is time to do another what if video. And this is the last video of 2024 as I'm recording this. So this will be posted at the end of 2024. No clue when exactly. Probably post Christmas, I assume. And today's what if is it's Danganronpa what if you could tell. So I will tell you this one's a very interesting one to me. And that entire idea of the what if is, what if we swap the motives of chapter 2 and 3, and I'm picking Trigger Happy Havoc for the sake of this video. Now I'm picking Trigger Happy Havoc because, why not? I just thought it'd be the best one. Plus, the only real games I'm really good with, I guess, storytelling-wise and timeline-wise, is the first two games, so why not? Maybe I can do some other ones with other motive swaps. Maybe I can swap game motives as well. But here it is. What would happen if Trigger Happy Havoc and Goodbye to if the chapters 2 and 3 of Trigger Happy Havoc got swapped in motives? So let's talk about it. So first we're going to talk about is chapter 2, obviously. I'm not doing that joke where I just talk about chapter 1 and say nothing changes. I might bring that joke back if it's popular enough. If everyone likes that joke, then I might bring the joke back. But at the moment, I don't really have much interest in bringing it back. So yeah, chapter 2. So in this alternative universe, the canon motive. First, we'll talk about the canon motives. Chapter 2's canon motive was Monokuma would air out people's dirty laundry or embarrassing secrets, and the only way to prevent that from happening is if someone kills another person. And then chapter 3's motive was if you want, is Monokuma basically bribing. So Monokuma offered like $10 million, like 10 million yen or something like that. I don't remember the exact price, but he offered a lot of money, and whoever would kill gets all that and gets away with the murder is going to get all that money. Now, one thing is that I'm pretty sure in this timeline of Trigger Happy Havoc, like one thing I will say in this alternative universe for like Trigger Happy Havoc is that in this timeline, the motive for money will be the second motive, and then obviously the dirty secret motive will be the chapter 3 motive. So I'm assuming the tropes are going to be there too, maybe? Who knows? But there are obviously some changes, because chapter 3 had a lot of stuff that chapter 2, the aftermath of chapter 2 definitely had a lot of effects on chapter 3. For example, the death of Chihiro caused the whole thing with the AI. The death of Mondo caused Ishimaru to be depressed, and that caused Celestia to use him in her plan, and Hifumi was also part of that plan. So in this alternative universe, there would be a lot of changes regarding to chapter 3, or at least chapter 2, because the money motive still happens regardless. In this timeline, this is where the money motive actually happens, meaning that in this timeline, the murder will definitely be different, or who kills who would be different. One thing for certain is that Ishimaru isn't dying in this timeline. Ishimaru wouldn't die, and as for my reason on why I don't see him dying, it's mainly due to the fact that he really isn't depressed in this timeline. I'm pretty sure him and Mondo still have their whole thing where they become friends eventually. That's like inevitably gonna happen, I assume. So everything like that goes the same, I'm pretty sure. So regarding that whole thing, that happens, and Mondo and Ishimaru do become bros, I assume, by chapter 2. Regarding other changes, I'm pretty sure nothing else would really change except that Celestia is gonna obviously be the killer. Now her victim, I'm gonna say with process of elimination, who we have. Obviously, you don't have like Junko, Mukuro, what was your face? Sayaka and Leon. They're obviously not gonna be dead here since they're already dead by this point, except for Junko who's hiding away, and they don't know about Mukuro's identity. But like they're out of the game, so it can't be them. Makoto probably isn't gonna die, in my opinion. I don't see Celestia going after him. Kyoko and Byakuya are smarter than her, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't fall for any of her tricks. I don't think Toko would really trust her, to be fair, but it does seem like something Celestia could do to go after Toko, but I don't think she would. I'm pretty sure Aoi or Yasuhiro could die. I don't know about Aoi, but Yasuhiro could probably end up dying in this timeline. Yasuhiro dying makes a lot of sense since he was pretty stupid, so Celestia using him as like the person she does for the getaway crime makes a lot of sense. So she tries to kill him. That would probably make a lot of sense in my opinion. Chihiro could maybe die. Chihiro's not dumb, but he is very caring, and he's honestly too nice, so I could actually see Celestia using that against him. I guess the same logic applies to Ishimaru, but I feel like at this point, I feel like he would probably be with Mondo too much, and plus, Celestia knows that Ishimaru could probably defend himself and beat her in a fight. Hifumi makes a lot of sense, seeing how that whole thing with Hifumi was that he was a simp for her, so he could end up dying here too. And honestly, between Sakura and Mondo, I don't see Celestia going after them since they were both the strongest, like physically strongest. So I don't see her wanting to pick a fight with them. Plus, Sakura's like saved by plot armor because like she had that whole thing going on that she's the traitor. So I'm pretty sure she's gonna be safe in the story. But as for who I believe it's gonna be, probably someone like Yasuhiro or Hifumi, and I don't think it would like affect the plot too much. Whoever gets killed. Arguably Chihiro could die, but I'm pretty sure Chihiro's gonna live. If Chihiro does die, though, it would lead to a perfect setup into like Chapter 3. And if interested in the comments, I could tell you a timeline where Celestia kills Chihiro in this alternative Chapter 2. But I'm gonna assume it's like Yasuhiro or Hifumi. I'll probably actually talk. No, I'll talk about Chihiro. I'll admit in the video timeline. I'll have a timeline where Chihiro does die. Yasuhiro and Hifumi, they wouldn't affect the plot at all. They're around the same tier of relevancy, and they're very similar. So like, if one die, so if Yasuhiro does die, I could see Hifumi like taking a spot for like parts of the story. So like, that's probably it. But I'm pretty sure one of those three are dying. And that's kind of all I could really see for Chapter 2. The money motive happened earlier in this timeline, obviously, and Celestia would obviously be killed a lot earlier because she would strike for the money motive still. And not only that, but everything going on with, going on in the story, there'd obviously be no AI thing, so Celestia's plan really wouldn't work. Plus, even if there was still that whole thing with the AI, like assuming Chihiro reveals it earlier, or Makoto and the others catch it earlier, or catch Chihiro doing it earlier, and then by that logic, that leads to, I guess Celestia's still trying to go out that plan. Ishimaru wouldn't have much effect on the AI, seeing how he does have Mondo alive. And not only that, but they could get the AI before Mondo and Ishimaru's bromance even becomes a thing, so it's possible that Ishimaru might just be, I guess, not even affected by the AI. I don't even know who would have been affected by the AI except for Hifumi, so yeah. But I'm pretty sure the AI is not going to be found here, most likely. And I'm pretty sure Celestia is either going to kill Chihiro, Hifumi, or Yasuhiro, and I'll leave that in the comments for you to decide. Now, the next story I'm going to talk about is like Chapter 3. That's like the next chapter of the story. So, in this timeline, Chapter 3's motive is obviously going to be switched with Chapter 2, as stated in the video. So, by that logic, this means Chapter 3 is going to have the whole embarrassing secret motive in the place of Chapter 2, which will be the money motive. Now, off the bat, one obvious change is the fact that Mondo has taken Celestia's spot in the story now, because at this point, Celestia was the one who originally killed. Mondo was the original culprit of that chapter, so now Celestia is executed, and Mondo is now fulfilling her role in that story now, as the additional character left over past Chapter 2. And debatably, Chihiro fulfills that role in like Yasuhiro or Hifumi's place, because in this timeline, there's a chance Hifumi might die earlier, or a chance that Yasuhiro actually does die in this alternative universe. So, that's an obvious change to start off with. The fact that Chihiro and Mondo are both now available in this timeline. Now, when it comes to Chapter 3 as a whole, now obviously we still get the whole thing here. Now, whether or not the cast find the AI Chihiro made is debatable. Assuming this is a timeline where Chihiro isn't dead, the odds of finding it seem a little harder, but it's possible they could because of like either Kyoko snooping or Naegi's luck. They either catch the AI or just catch Chihiro programming the AI. And Chihiro could be like, keep this a secret between me and you, or something like that. And that could probably be how it goes there, alternatively. Or maybe they just say, or maybe everyone just finds out and everything kind of just goes the same, but Chihiro's AI is just found a lot quick. But Chihiro's AI is found, and Chihiro's actually present for that scene, so he's like probably a little embarrassed about it, but that's kind of it. He could even reveal the whole ginger thing there earlier, and if he does, then that could actually definitely change Chapter 3. Now, when it comes into this timeline, assuming Yasuhiro or Hifumi dies, and assuming Chihiro doesn't reveal his gender, with the whole AI thing being revealed, then Mondo probably still kills Chihiro. Now, assuming this is a double murder storyline, then someone's gonna have to obviously die. I'm pretty sure in this alternative universe, maybe Byakuya actually does end up dying. Now, let's be honest. Let's say in this timeline, Byakuya still tries to tamper with the crime scene. Mondo still does his whole thing to try to hide Chihiro's identity. Byakuya does that whole thing. In this timeline, Mondo actually catches Byakuya tampering with the crime scene, and out of anger of like Byakuya not being a real man and like disrespecting a crime scene and like dishonoring Chihiro's body or something, Mondo kills Byakuya with the whole thing there, and then I can see Mondo like undoing the whole crucifix thing that he did to Chihiro's body, and that's if you want to go the double murder route and Chihiro's gender is still not being revealed, only until his death being where his gender is revealed, and then that would just lead to Toko's secret likely never being revealed until it's either too late for her and she ends up killing someone, or just not through the entire story. Which, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Toko would have just kept it a secret, unless Naegi or Kyoko find out because, either luck or snooping, or both. But that's like one timeline to come out of it. Another is assuming that Chihiro is alive or does confess his gender to the others. Then Mondo really doesn't have a reason to kill Chihiro in this timeline. Or at least if a timeline where Chihiro either is killed by Celestia or Chihiro does confess his gender to the others, whether he's alive or not. And as for who could actually end up killing in this timeline, I'm pretty sure Byakuya might end up killing someone and framing it on Toko, since he did know Toko's secret. It's possible he could go after someone or two people. As for who I could see him going after, I feel like he'd probably go after someone like Kyoko or someone like that. Someone who is very intelligent, like Kyoko, would make a lot of sense for his character. Maybe he like strangles her with the cord from the lamp to try to put an end to her. It would be pretty hard to, but I'm pretty sure if Byakuya could catch her off guard, and I'm pretty sure Byakuya could beat her physically, but I don't really know Kyoko's canonical fighting ability. And assuming you need like a second victim, like let's say like Hifumi or Yasuhiro like walks in on it happening or something, or alternatively maybe Chihiro, assuming you want to go that route where Chihiro's still alive. I don't know. Someone walks in on it coincidentally. They're like, oh crap, Byakuya's murdering Kyoko. Byakuya can notice, and before they can do anything, Byakuya fights him off, either killing Byakuya in self-defense, or Byakuya does get away with the murder. So it's possible Byakuya could do it, and I actually think out from anyone in this timeline, Byakuya is the only one who has that reason to kind of actually kill. I don't really see anyone else having a reason to want to do it. Byakuya, I don't think alone would have had a motive. Maybe the whole he had to fight for the heir of his Togami family, but I'm pretty sure he takes pride in it, seeing how in the Free Time events he's willing to admit it to Makoto. So I'm pretty sure he's at least willing to admit that he did do that and that he had to earn a spot into being the affluent progeny. I think he would only kill because he knows Toko's secret and would use that to actually get ahead in the game by taking out Kyoko, since she was the smartest one there. And that would actually fit the character of Byakuya in my opinion, but that's assuming that Chihiro either dies back in Chapter 2 to Celestia, or if Chihiro does reveal his identity during the AI thing. Would Byakuya use the AI to murder? Well, I mean, now that I think about it, it's possible Byakuya might actually trick Hifumi and use the AI to Hifumi to try to get Kyoko alone. Now that I think about it, Byakuya could pull a Celestia in this timeline and actually use the AI as well. It is possible he could use Toko, but I'm pretty sure he could use Hifumi. I think it would fit if Byakuya was able to manipulate both Hifumi and Toko, seeing how the entire point of Byakuya was that he was this very much intelligent, masterminding, cold, and calculated character. So I think him planning out this whole thing where he had Toko and Hifumi working for him to actually do that could have actually fit the character of him. And who knows, I actually could see you being able to pull off this kind of double murder storyline here. And I definitely think it could have been far more interesting than what we got in the canon when you think about it. I'm pretty sure Toko wouldn't die, though. I don't think she would. I don't see anyone potentially dying in this timeline. I'm pretty sure Mondo is either still going to be the culprit and will kill Chihiro and maybe Byakuya, I guess. Or Byakuya is the killer, and I'm pretty sure it would be a double murder with him killing, like, Kyoko, most likely, and probably Hifumi. But that's all I could really say for Chapter 3 in this alternative universe, and I guess we can go on to the next few chapters. Now, regarding Chapter 4, obviously we're not switching the motive, so we're keeping the canon motive of the whole mastermind, or mastermind, but traitor thing. So Sakura is obviously still like the traitor. We obviously know what happens there. So in this alternative universe, who do we got left? Obviously, we still have Makoto left. We still have some characters. We have Makoto still left. We maybe all the characters we still, for a fact, would have now at this point would have been Makoto, Ishimaru, Sakura. So it's Makoto, Ishimaru, Chihiro. No, Makoto, Sakura, Ishimaru, not Sayaka, but Aoi, and then Toko. Those five are guaranteed to be there still. And then we would obviously either have Mondo maybe here, or Byakuya, or like Kyoko, or Toko, or Chihiro. I don't know. Obviously, we have like 3 additional characters need to fulfill the rest of that whole thing. Or I mean, 2 actually, I'm pretty sure. Because obviously you would have like 5 characters that need to die in chapters 2 and 3. So it'd be like Celestia dying in 3. So it's obviously Celestia's victim, which is like Hifumi, Yasuhiro, or Chihiro. And then there's obviously Celestia as the chapter 2 culprit. Then there's the victims of chapter 3, which would end up either being Chihiro, Kyoko, Byakuya, Hifumi. Those are the only ones who I could see being the chapter 3 victims. And then the culprit either being Mondo or Byakuya, in my opinion. So those would kind of be our limits at the moment. And that would kind of be who we have left. Now when it comes to the whole thing regarding the traitor stuff, this is kind of tough to actually dictate, not gonna lie, of who would and who wouldn't trust Sakura. Obviously, the characters who canonically did and didn't trust Sakura would be the same, like Makoto and Aoi would trust Sakura, while Toko does not trust Sakura. Ishimaru, I'm pretty sure, would trust Sakura, seeing how he was very much a character who was willing to trust anyone and was just a very kind-hearted person. It just fits his character to trust her. Now, regarding anyone else, now, assuming Kyoko or Byakuya make it out of this whole thing, if Kyoko, Byakuya, or Yasuhiro are left out of this whole Chapter 2 and 3 thing and they're still in the game, their canon emotions are still the same here. So, canonically speaking, either it's Byakuya doesn't trust it. So, canonically speaking, if Byakuya and or Hiro is still here, then they're not going to trust Sakura. And if Kyoko is still here, she trusts Sakura. Now, regarding anyone else who died before they get the chance to do it, so like aka Hifumi, Chihiro, and Mondo, if it's Hifumi still alive, I'm pretty sure he would not trust Sakura. I just don't think he would. Chihiro was very kind. I could actually see him trusting her. Mondo probably wouldn't trust her at first. I think Mondo wouldn't trust her, actually. I don't think he would. Knowing the kind of guy Mondo is. He could maybe see Sakura being like honorable and willing to admit that she's like against Monokuma or something. Maybe if Sakura does the whole I'm an honorable warrior thing, maybe that's something where Mondo's like, okay, I trust you. But I think Mondo wouldn't trust her. When it comes to the whole bottlehead thing, it seems realistic like Hifumi or Mondo could like fulfill that place in Yasuhiro's spot. Assuming both are out of the game. Or assuming all 3 of them are out of the game. I don't think they would all 3 be out of the game at the same time. If Mondo's like the culprit of Chapter 3 in this timeline, like how he was in Chapter 2 canonically, then I'm pretty sure Hifumi's not dying. So I don't really know who would die here in this version of Chapter 4. I mean, Sakura's obviously still taking her own life, but someone is going to take the place of Yasuhiro, maybe. It's either still Yasuhiro if he's still alive, or if he's dead, then like someone like Mondo or Hifumi could probably replace him. I don't know if anyone else who could probably replace him there. Byakuya didn't show any interest in going, so he's obviously not going to be there. But yeah, that's kind of it. And obviously Toko still turns in a genocider show, and it still hits Sakura in the head with the bottle previously. And everything with Chapter 4, I'm pretty sure just goes the same. And I'm pretty sure Sakura still takes her own life like she does in the canon, so everything like that goes the same. So F in the chat for Sakura, and she still ends up dying in Chapter 4. Next is Chapter 5. So, Chapter 5 in this timeline actually could change. Now, assuming we're going, I'd say in most case timelines, like, if Chapter 2 obviously, like, goes the same, like, regardless whoever the victim is between, like, Kyoko, okay, the only way I could see Chapter 2 actually changing, let's assume in this timeline that Okay, if we're going with chapter 5, I feel like in most case scenarios it wouldn't change unless we're going with the route where Byakuya is the killer of chapter 3 and he was able to kill Kyoko by using Hifumi. Now that's obviously going to happen. Let's say he does. Let's go with that timeline where Byakuya uses the AI on Hifumi and ends up tricking Hifumi into killing Kyoko, which we'll say will happens in this version of the timeline. And if that's the case, and Kyoko is now gone because Byakuya did use Hifumi to kill her, then obviously it's obvious that Junko really has no real threats anymore and to frame a crime on. She only did it to try to get Makoto and Kyoko out of the game, since the both of them basically carried the trials. So her plan was to basically get both Makoto and Kyoko out of the story, and that was why she was doing what she was doing. Now, obviously, in that point of the story, if she still does try to do that, like she does in the canon, there's really no one she would really need to frame. With the characters that they have left, I mean, if you're going with the assumption that someone could get framed and the whole thing could still happen with, like, Makoto, then maybe Chihiro takes the place, I guess. And that's assuming Celestia doesn't kill Chihiro in Chapter 2. Like, that's, like, the only assumption there. Assuming Celestia does not kill Chihiro in Chapter 2. Or if Chihiro... That is, like, the only way I could actually see that working. Assuming Chihiro still dies in Chapter 2, like, instead he gets killed by Celestia, and then obviously, Chapter 3 includes Byakuya taking the place of being the culprit, and he uses Toko's motive as his reason to try to kill, and he tricks Hifumi by using the AI, and then Hifumi goes after, like, Kyoko, probably, which I'd say makes sense for someone like Byakuya to want to take out Kyoko, and Byakuya could kill, like, Hifumi, and that could kind of happen there. But, yeah, at this point, now we're at, like, Chapter 5, and assuming Kyoko is out of the picture, and there's no Chihiro who could also fit that whole role of being the one who Junko/Mukuro could blame. I can't really say what would exactly happen. Obviously, Makoto is like their only threat they would want to frame, but like anyone else really doesn't make any sense to go after. Like everyone else at Trigger Happy Havoc, no offense, but they weren't that smart. So I'm pretty sure it's kind of hard. If anything, it's possible that Junko's plan would have went to fruition, but it's kind of hard to say. So it's possible Makoto might actually end up dying in Chapter 5, but maybe his insane look like prevents him from dying, and then we obviously still get like Mukuro being killed, or the whole fake thing there, and then Makoto could get the whole execution thing, but survives because of luck. And then I guess everything in Chapter 5 can go the same, maybe. I don't know. It's tough, because they obviously needed like Kyoko for Chapter 5 to at least make some sense to happen. That, or it's possible that maybe Chihiro plays that role of being the Kyoko, I guess, and he uses, and the fact that he's very knowledgeable because he used the AI to, like, I guess get knowledge about everything going on. Assuming you want to go a route where, like, Chihiro maybe, like, confessed his gender early on, so, like, Mondo doesn't need to kill him, so Byakuya could, like, kill Kyoko. Then I guess it'd be, like, Chihiro has to play the role of, he'd have to play that Kyoko role, I assume, for, like, chapters 4 and 5. And then that would lead to Chihiro actually playing the role of kind of being the support role, and that could lead to him and Makoto, I guess, taking that place. But that's just my opinion, and that's kind of all I really got to say here. Regarding Chapter 6 of Danganronpa, though, nothing would really change except that the survivors are obviously going to be probably different. Obviously, you still have Makoto, you obviously still have Toga, and you still have Aoi surviving, in my opinion. But Kyoko, Yasuhiro, and Byakuya are kind of iffy. I personally think Ishimaru would be a survivor, but that's just my opinion. And for like the last two survivors, that's kind of tough. I mean, you could keep Byakuya and Kyoko as survivors, maybe, but like, it would be really tough for that. You could, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Ishimaru is definitely surviving, and I'm pretty sure a canon survivor will end up needing to die in this timeline. That is just my opinion. I'm pretty sure it just depends on how you see the ending going. And I guess if you want to talk about like the anime and stuff, if Byakuya does die, like if you're talking about like the aftermath of Trigger Happy Havoc, like the anime and stuff, and like Ultra Despair Girls, like obviously Despair Arc's not changing, but like I guess the future arc and Ultra Despair Girls. Ultra Despair Girl wise, if Byakuya is dead in this timeline, like assuming he does kill in Chapter 3, Kamaru is screwed when she's at the hotel room, but if Byaku's still alive, then I'm pretty sure the events can go on like canon. But regardless, if Toko's there, she can aid Kamaru still, like she does in the canon, I'm pretty sure. Now, regarding Byaku, not Byaku, but regarding Future Arc, uh, Kyoko's probably out of the story, maybe. I don't know. This one's kind of tough. I've never really watched Future Arc except for like clips here and there, and that's kind of all I know from it. So it's kind of hard to say what exactly would happen here, except that Kyoko might end up getting replaced, maybe. I could see Ishimaru being part of the Future Arc, though. I don't know if he'd be locked out like Yasuhiro, granted. I don't know. It just depends on who's alive and who's dead. Kind of give me your vision, like your little vision of this timeline and what you imagine for it. That's kind of all I gotta really add for like Chapter 6. And like the aftermath, like the anime stuff. I'm pretty sure there might be some changes. I don't need to be changes in Ultra Despair Girls. I don't see any changes. The only change I could see is maybe like Chihiro get involved, and I could actually see him being helpful in like Ultra Despair Girls. But I don't know if he would be helpful in like the future arc. I don't know. I could see Chihiro probably being helpful now I think about it. Either in like the future arc or like the Ultra Despair Girl stuff. I'm pretty sure he could find some kind of niche where he's useful, assuming he's still alive. Mondo could be helpful in like Ultra Despair Girls, and I could see Shimaru probably helping out in like the future arc, maybe Ultra Despair Girls, who knows. Um, Assuming like Goodbye Despair changes, I guess, because like Makoto shows up at the end with some of the survivors. If both Kyoko and Byaku are dead, or if like one of them are dead, I'm pretty sure Chihiro would obviously just replace whoever ends up dying there. He could replace one or both of them, assuming Chihiro's still alive. But that's just my opinion. I don't really know who would live and die here. Actually, for like chapters 2 and 3 and that kind of stuff, I don't know who exactly would live and die. It'd be cool if you guys give me like your version of this timeline. I don't really have a timeline that I would personally stick to. I'll probably need to think some time. Maybe I can get some comments. Maybe I can read some comments and maybe you can give me some ideas on what I could probably headcanon my little timeline for this to go as. But I actually would probably try to do more of these what ifs. I mean, Danganronpa what ifs for me have been getting a little more popular lately. I'm still doing JoJo what ifs, and they're a lot more popular, obviously. So I'm obviously still going to probably stick to that mainly. But Danganronpa what ifs can be there for me here and there. I'm pretty sure these motive swaps could actually be at least somewhat helpful for me when it comes to trying to come up with new motives, obviously. Or at least comes up to like writing storylines for this whole what if. I'm pretty sure this is what I'm going to do, and I'm pretty much going to do this for maybe some. Do I have any other ideas for these? Well, I got V3 in mind. I have, like, Chapter 1 and 2 of V3 being swapped. That's one that kind of piques my interest that I want to try out. Maybe switching the motives of, like... I don't know, maybe switching the motive of, like, Goodbye Despair Chapter 4 with, like... putting like the Chapter 4 Goodbye Despair motive in like switching the V3 Chapter 4 motive around, maybe, since those motives I guess were kind of since the V3 Chapter 4 motive could have definitely worked in Goodbye Despair, while the Goodbye Despair motive could definitely work in like Chapter 4, I guess, or like the Goodbye Despair Chapter 4 motive could be interesting to see on like V3, and especially to see how it could fit in like the manipulative side of Kokichi, maybe, and like what he could do there. I don't know. I have some ideas on what I want to do with it. I have some more motive swap ideas. I think Chapter 4 of Goodbye Despair and Chapter 4 of V3 is an interesting one to me, and that's one I'm thinking of doing. Or Chapters 1 and 2 of V3. None for really Goodbye Despair at the moment. No other ones for Trigger Happy Havoc, I guess. Maybe like switching like the Chapter 4 motive with like one of the first 3 chapters, I guess, could be interesting. Or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure like 5 and 6 don't even have motives. Goodbye Despair's for Goodbye Despair in V3, I think those ones have some interesting storyline ideas. I don't really have any ideas for how this could work, actually. I have some interesting ideas for motive swaps, but I don't really know how to execute them yet. No pun intended. So, I might try them. Tell me some of the comments that you think could be cool for Danganronpa what ifs, like some motive swap ideas. If you have any cool ideas for them in the comments, I would actually try to read them, because they could be interesting. But I'm probably going to have the next one be like V3 and Goodbye Despair's Chapter 4s, because they actually seem like they could be interesting ones. And it would be a long video, and I'm pretty sure it could fit. So, thanks for watching this video to anyone who watched it. this is going to be the last video of 2024. I will have my first video of 2025 be a wrestling video, a fantasy book and wrestling video, actually. So, to anyone who's, I guess, interested into pro wrestling, I don't know if anyone would be interested in both pro wrestling and Danganronpa, but screw it. If you are, then maybe check out the next one when it comes out. I'm going to try to have it come out at least before January 6th of Raw. Before the first episode of Raw, but, like, that's just all I got to say there. But that'll be my next video, and that'll be the next video for, like, 2025. Don't really want to talk about plans of 2025 now on this channel. Just want to do that, and I'm kind of hoping that 2025, somewhere in the line, I can bring back the old weekly video, like once a week Saturday videos, hopefully, once I get this whole anxiety thing settled down, and once I'm less stressed out, and once I'm more calmed out, you know. I think you guys would like that to happen, so, like, when I'm back to being, like, a more relaxed individual, and once I'm ready to make those videos, and once I'm back to going back to that old schedule of mine, I'm willing to do it, which I'm probably going to have to get full-time in my job first. Once I get the chance to become a full-time employee in my job, and once I'm more calmed out, then once a week videos should hopefully be coming back, hopefully. But that's, like, at this point, that's all I got to say. There's really nothing else I got to say except happy 2020. Hope that 2024 was good for you guys. Hope it was a good year. Hope 2025 does good for you guys. I'll pray for 2025 to be good. Yeah, that's it. I suck at making endings for my videos, but yeah. See y'all next time. Happy New Year. Yada yada. Let's live. Let's have a great 2025. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found this video interesting. Tell me some of your ideas for this idea in the comments. Give me some video requests if you want. That's kind of all I gotta say. Peace.